What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, the political scene this week isn't really anything major in the news going on. Same old bullshit. So let's just get on to your reviews this week. The first one that I want to talk about, I just got done watching, not like last week or so, all seasons of the television show called Dexter. Now this show is basically about a serial killer who hunts serial killers. Dexter is at an early age showed signs of becoming a serial killer. His father, who happened to be a police officer, adopted him after finding him and his brother at a horrific murder scene of his mother being killed. Now, the police officer thought the older brother was too far gone, so he let him go into the foster care system, and he adopted Dexter. And then once he found out what was going on with Dexter, he created this code to where he would only kill serial killers, bad guys, to stem off his urges, and he wouldn't be killing innocent people. Now Dexter also has a sister he grows up with. They're very close. And throughout the series, you know, that relationship is put into jeopardy several times. His father is not physically there. His father is dead, the cop, but he sees him all the time. Kind of like an advocate. He's like on his shoulder, telling him, you know, things he needs to do, what he probably should do, that kind of thing. Now, there's one particular character I absolutely, with a passion, hated. And I'm glad they got rid of him pretty early on. I think after the first or second season, he was gone. And that's the Dokes character. He was just a super annoying dickhead who just, you know, he had to go. That was the one person in the show I couldn't stand the most. The second one, which stays until season 7, was the female lieutenant or captain or whatever, Laquetta or whatever her name is. Oh, I could not stand her either. Absolutely hated her. Now, through the show, they make it like she's a beautiful woman, and she is not. They do the same thing with Dexter's sister. Again, not a good-looking woman at all. Don't understand why they try to make them look like they're really good-looking women when they weren't. It was dumb. Um, Everyone else, I didn't really have a problem with. All the acting was pretty good. I really liked the woman who played Rita, Dexter's girlfriend, who eventually becomes his wife. She was good looking. And she played a cool character. I liked her character. Even though she got a little bossy at times, a little too controlling over him, I still liked the character. Now, in the first season, you dealt with the ice cream truck killer, which is actually his brother, which he later finds out. Now he becomes his sister's boyfriend, and before he even knows that he's actually his brother. Rita, he has to deal with Rita. She's what he considers damaged goods because she had a rough relationship with her past husband who used to beat on her. And he likes this because he's not a social bug, so he's not real good with people as far as feeling wise. You know, he tries to keep a distance, but he can pretend or act like he's feely touchy kind of sort of guy, sympathetic, that kind of thing. So he likes that Rita's that way. Season 2, like I said, they finally get rid of Dokes. Dexter's a little confused about the whole Lita thing. Like I said, Rita gets kind of bossy. He kind of gets involved with another woman who's really good looking too. Some British gal, but she's nuts. I mean, whacked out. She's the one who kills off Dokes for him. But eventually, he can't have her going around killing people, so he takes her out. Then we get to season 3. He has a lot of things going on with Rita and the 2 kids. He's got 2 things going on in this one, besides dealing with the whole family thing, trying to be kind of like a daddy. He ends up proposing to Rita. He has to deal with Miguel in this one, which is someone who kind of wants to emulate him. He wants to kill the bad guys too. But Miguel starts killing off innocent people to get him out of his way. And Dexter can't have that, so he takes care of Miguel. He also runs across a new serial killer, which they call the Trinity Killer, which is played by John Lithgow. And, you know, he starts stalking him. In season 4, Rita becomes his wife. She starts cracking down the whip on Dexter. She gets really bad about it. They have another guy who comes in, and his name is Quinn. He's a cop. he kind of gets involved with his sister, and he starts kind of, you know, sticking on Dexter's ass quite a bit. It gets really nuts. Now he eventually kills the Trinity Killer, but the Trinity Killer kills Rita first before he finally gets to him. So now Rita is gone, which kind of sucked. Now season 5, he has to deal with a woman he saves from a group of sadistic they kind of like bondage, rape, and kill women kind of thing. There's a group of them. The ringleader is Johnny Miller, played by Johnny Miller. This woman, her name is Lumen. I didn't really find her that attractive. She's all right looking, but she wasn't that good looking. But Dexter gets involved with her and blah blah blah. Eventually, they take care of all the. There's like 4 or 5 guys, and they take care of all of them besides Johnny Miller. And Lumen parts ways and goes on her own. She's done killing. She just wanted to get revenge, and she got it. Now his sister almost finds out that he's a killer, but doesn't. Then you get to season 6, and he's dealing with what's called the Doomsday Killer. This guy's nuts. He's kind of follows kind of a religious prophecy kind of thing, and he kind of copycats things from a book written by this professor who, at first you think the professor's alive helping him, but come to find out he's just imagining that this professor is alive and helping him. Eventually gets the Doomsday Killer, but when he does, at the very end, his sister walks in on him and catches him in the act. So now she's having a hard time dealing with the fact that her brother's a serial killer, even though it's other serial killers he's killing off. Then you move on to season 7. He has to deal with a Russian mobster. There's another killer on the loose he has to deal with. Laquita, or whatever the fuck her name is, really gets up his ass, is really on him. She wants to prove that Dokes was not the so-called barber, I can't remember what it is, something Bay Butcher, which is Dexter, but Dokes got framed for it. They all just assumed it was him, and she won't let it drop. She keeps coming after Dexter. Eventually, towards the end of season 7, the sister has to kill Laquita to save Dexter. And season 8, she's having a breakdown over it. Dexter meets this doctor who helped Harry, his father, come up with the code for killing other serial killers. However, she's got a serial killer after her. Come to find out, it's her son, which she didn't know was alive still, blah blah blah. In the end, he catches him, takes care of her. His sister gets killed by him. And at the end, he fakes his own death and disappears and go into hiding. Now, you think that would be the end of it. The show ended, but it was announced this coming year, or towards the end of this year, sometime this coming month, there will be, I guess you would call it season 9. They're kind of calling it like Dexter New Blood, a new series, but it's basically like season 9. They're just restarting the show, basically, where they left it off. I will eventually get around to checking that out. Was the show good? The acting was good. The story was pretty cool. Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. It's kind of like a murder mystery kind of thing. It was a good show. Now, there's only one thing that I could see people having a problem with this show, because my brother pretty much had a similar problem, is that he thinks he didn't really care for it because he thought it glorified a serial killer, making it like it's okay to be a serial killer. I didn't see it that way, but whatever, each to their own. Like I said, 2 thumbs up. Give this show a look. You may or may not like it. It just depends. Anyway, that's all I have for you on Dexter. Let's move on to your B-movie reviews. Alright, movie holics, moving on to your B-movie reviews. This is the last of the horror month. We're just entered the beginning of November, so this is the last 2 for this month of October. First one we're going to talk about is called The Boogeyman, and I'm talking about the original Boogeyman from 1980. It stars Susanna Love and John Carradine. Basically, this is more like a ghost story than it was anything else. There's no Michael Myers in it or anything like that, who's normally called the Boogeyman. But anyways, they did this movie. There was no box office numbers for it. Not that I saw anyway. It had like 2 or 3 sequels that were basically using stock footage from the first one and adding like 10 minutes of new shit in it. So the sequels were god awful. Even the Stephen King adaptation, because there's also a Boogeyman with Stephen that's based off a short story by Stephen King, was really bad. They did do a new series of Boogeyman movies, I think 3 of them, after like 2009 or 10, I believe. I've never actually seen them, but I may eventually get around to watching them eventually, maybe. We'll see. Like I said, this one was basically like a ghost story. You have a little boy and a little girl whose mother was kind of a shit mother. She had a boyfriend that was pretty abusive. He's tying the boy to the bed, slapping the mother around, telling the girl what to do. The little girl goes and grabs a knife at the very beginning, cuts the ropes that's holding the little boy to the bed, and the little boy kills the boyfriend, stabs him in the back. Now you move on to like 20, 30 years later or some shit like that. And now this is all, for whatever reason, now all of a sudden it's coming to haunt them for some reason. What happened back then. You know, it's a huge gap. It makes no sense. The girl that's now all grown up has a family now. The brother still lives with her. And some older couple. I don't know who they are or what they have anything to do with them. But there's an older couple, and they all kind of like live on this farm. She has a child of her own. And her husband tries to help her get over what happened back then because she keeps flipping out about it for some reason. So he takes her to the house. She's been seeing a psychiatrist, and he suggests that he takes her to the house and confront her fears. So the husband does. She busts this mirror, old ass mirror, at the house. You have some people already living there now, but they let them come in and look around. And she busts this old ass mirror that was there originally when her and her brother lived there when they were young. Apparently the trapped soul of the bad boyfriend is in the mirror, and every time one of these shards of the mirror are shown in the movie, apparently he's coming out of the mirror and causing shit to happen, kill people. They eventually get rid of the mirror by throwing it down this well, and it is destroyed, supposedly. Now the brother doesn't talk through the whole movie. Supposedly he hadn't talked since he killed the boyfriend, but towards the end of the movie he starts talking again. And as they're walking away out of the cemetery, where the old couple that was staying with them are buried, there's a shard of glass, and it starts lighting up red or whatever, like the ghost is still there, like they missed a piece. And that's the end of the movie. It was okay for an old horror flick. It was like almost a TV made type movie, you know, them 80s TV movies. But it was alright. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. The acting was decent. It was just, and the story wasn't that actually wasn't that bad either, except for the fact that all of a sudden this boyfriend who was an abuser they made it like he was super evil, you know. I mean, he was a bad guy, but at the same time, I don't know, it's just kind of strange that they made it like he was like this really evil dude or some shit. But anyway, it was a decent flick. I give it 2 thumbs up. If you're a big horror fan, want to check it out, check it out. You might like it. Let's move on to the next one. The next one I watched, I'd never heard of it before. I'm surprised I didn't, but at the same time I get why. It's called Nightwish. And it was done 1989. And thank God it starred Brian Thompson. And also had Alicia Doss in it. I love Brian Thompson. He's one of my favorite B-movie actors. He's had numerous roles, but mainly B-movie stuff. He has played in a few A-list stuff too, but great actor. He normally plays the rough bully type kind of guy. He's a big dude. You might remember him from 2 particular movies, maybe 3. He played as the bad guy in Cobra with Sylvester Stallone. He also played the Boogeyman in Night Shift 2. He also played the King's bodyguard, or the prince's bodyguard in Dragonheart. That's it. He played the bodyguard also in Lionheart as well, a woman's bodyguard. Anyways, like I said, he's been in quite a few movies, and that's just to name a few. But he's a great actor. I really like him. He plays like some super bully dickhead in almost all these movies that he's in. But the guy is actually a really decent dude. Really nice guy. It's just it's like the complete opposite of what he's really like when he plays these characters. Now, this movie was kind of strange. You have a group of like supposed students, university. You have this doctor who's conducting like dream experiments, but then he takes him to this mansion out in the middle of the desert, and he decides to conduct some paranormal research there. He wants to try to summon a ghost or entity that supposedly haunts the house. But at the same time, he keeps testing his students by trying to make them frightened. Now, the blonde girl was just super annoying. I absolutely did not like her character. But they always got to have the blonde, good-looking blonde token character. But Alicia Doss, the brunette, was far, far better looking. And I liked her, so they could have left that blonde out. Anyways, they come across ectoplasm, is what they're calling it, basically a ghost or poltergeist. Each one of them start hallucinating for some reason. Nothing's making any sense. One of them thinks there's aliens going on. Another thinks it's like cannibals or man-eating zombies. Another one thinks that they're all getting attacked by the doctor, which it's kind of strange because the doctor has this other supposed assistant, which is basically, I don't know, he calls him Stanley, but he's basically helping the doctor out, kind of like torturing these kids or whatever, supposedly. so he can get his demon to come into the real world. I don't know, it's really weird. At the end, supposedly, the girl wakes up in isolation chamber. The brunette, she's like the only one to make it to the very end. And supposedly she was dreaming the whole time. When she comes out, the isolation chamber, they help her get out, and the next thing you know, she's seeing everybody just that she saw in the dream, but they're different people. And then she opens a couple of doors at the very end, and supposedly she still sees herself in the dream, so she doesn't know if she's actually still dreaming or what's going on. Everything was real or what. It's really kind of confusing. Now, they tried to pull in a Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven type of shit, with the whole dream nightmare crap. But the movie was just really strange. It was really weird. They tried to throw way too much together. Too many plots and dream crap and other stuff. Aliens, ghosts. It was really weird. Like I said, they tried to cram too much together. And it kind of left the viewer confused. It didn't make a lot of sense. And it's still not explained. So, unless you're a hardcore horror fan, I give this a thumbs up, thumbs down. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a hardcore horror fan. I thought it was a pretty cool idea and concept, but at the same time, you know, they kind of, whoever wrote the script or whatever, kind of lost base or touch of what they were really trying to accomplish with this movie. Anyways, check it out if you want. Up to you. That's all I have for you this week. Like I said, we're done with horror month, so we'll be moving on. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in this video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd like to hear from you. If you have any suggestions of some underrated or B-rated movies that you think I've never heard of, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.